I'm sure everybody out there is going through this as well, or many people out there are, but this, for me, this today marks the transition out of lockdown, or lockdown light as it has been here in Tokyo, Japan, and back into work. Now for me, since I'm going to go with March the 3rd, me and my business have been out of kind of action for what is effectively 3 months, and I've been working from home during all of that time, and I haven't needed to stop. You know, I've been able to work from home, I've been able to do it remote and all that kind of stuff, but we started off, you know, going into work a little bit, and then since April the 7th, which is, you know, almost 2 months ago, it was like, don't go to work, stay at home please. So we stayed at home, and then tomorrow marks day one when we're going back to that semi-at-work, semi-at-home thing. So it's a big deal for me. What does that have to do with sneakers though? I mean, you're probably watching this thinking, I want to know about a Jordan sneaker. Well, what it has to do is I've done daily videos for YouTube for 540 consecutive days. This is the 540th consecutive day, non-stop daily drops, and I'm really proud of that. I think I've worked hard to do that, and I think I've managed to sort of, you know, work it so that I have these daily drops and not miss a beat. Even when I've gone on holiday, I've kind of front-loaded the channel and had some videos drop while I've been away and things like that. So doing these daily drops. Now, while I've been at home, I've had to shoot the videos at night, work them up the next day and get them ready for 7 p.m. And this is me working up at night. It's now 11:10 p.m. But I need to be at the office tomorrow, so I don't have time in the morning to work the video up. So I'm worried that will I be able to keep this streak of 540 consecutive days going? Well, yes, I will, but then 541, 42, 43, let's see how that goes. But all that aside, I mean, it's the same for you guys out there. You're out there with your worlds, and they're sort of either stuck in lockdown or coming out of lockdown, and we all have our little challenges, and we'll see how my little challenge works out over the next few weeks. But enough about that. Let's get into this shoe. What we're going to be doing today is having a quick look at the start to you know, where the shoe belongs and who needs to know about it, especially who I need to tell about it, because there are a few people out there that I need to say thank you very much to, and this shoe is a great job, a great opportunity to do that. And then the other thing is to take some close-up looks at the detailing on the shoe and explain why it's a really cool shoe, and especially that question that I have in the title, which is the toe box actually the main feature of the upcoming release of the Nike Air Jordan 1 Women's Tie Dye? This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel des.毎日アップするので毎日見てください. Every single day I upload videos onto YouTube from Tokyo, Japan about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews. And today it's all about the upcoming release of the Nike Air Jordan 1 Women's Tie Dye on June the 11th. Right? June the 11th, right? I'm saying that because some places it's still down there as being June the 26th. And the reason why I'm going to put my sort of flag on June the 11th is because it's on sneakers. And usually when it's on the sneakers app, you know, you can take that for granted. You can take it to the bank that it's actually going to drop on the date that it says on the sneakers app. And the date in the sneakers app says June the 11th. So we're going to trust that. And the June the 26th is probably the old drop date that's been brought forward. The question is, why is it being brought forward? Is it because of coronavirus? Is it because they've just decided to change their mind? Is it because the Olympics got cancelled? You know, what are the reasons why they do that? Who knows? But I have said it in a few of my videos over the last couple of weeks that the drop dates are all over the place. Makes my job a little bit challenging when I'm doing these videos, but you know, sometimes something falls into my lap, like these guys, which are now a whole 2 and a bit weeks early, dropping on June the 11th. And I think, you know, like I say, maybe this shoe doesn't need, you know, it doesn't have a problem coming out in the, you know, the planned order that they decided to drop this shoe, but other shoes might have been dropped from the roster, so they brought this one forward. So this shoe itself might not have had a problem with production, but maybe an Olympic-centric shoe, maybe a, you know, basketball playoffs final centric shoe, maybe, you know, the start of the baseball season, you know, whatever. Like, there's a bunch of different reasons why a shoe might have been pulled because it's not appropriate to drop it right now during the coronavirus situation, and that creates a hole, so they bring something from later in the schedule, and that might be what happened with these guys. But anyway, enough about that. I did say I would give this you know, a shout out to somebody, and that person is Shoe Butter. If you know anything about the butter movement, you know that Shoe Butter has been a big supporter of mine, and I was a big supporter of his when he did have a channel. And even yesterday, I put a couple of his videos at the end of my video. He does these 2-minute videos for me when he's not in lockdown. And yesterday we had the Fruity Pebble 4s and the LeBron 8 Graffitis, which are 2 of the rarest sneakers in the world. And those 2-minute videos were tagged on the end of my video yesterday, which was about, gosh, I've gone for, it was the Nike LeBron 17 Graffitis, and that's why I added a couple of Shoe Butters videos on there. And Shoe Butter loves a tie-dye sneaker. So today I'm going to shout this video out to Shoe Butter and say thank you very much for everything you do for me. And this is, you know, I know that you'll like this shoe, but I also know that you won't love this shoe for two particular reasons. Reason number one is because Shoe Butter wears a size 16 and this is a women's shoe. And it only goes up to 29 centimeters. Now, I don't know what that is in an American size, but I wear 30.5 centimeters and that's 12.5. So 29 centimeters is probably around about a men's 11. Is my guess. But that's still a pretty big size run, you know, if it's meant to be a women's sneaker. But I always chip in that little bit in my videos about women's sneakers where I say, don't like it. Think all sneakers should be for everybody. A pink sneaker can be worn by a man, a blue sneaker by a woman, that kind of stuff. So when they designate it women's, it always makes me cringe a little bit. Why not have this in a size 32, 33, 34, whatever centimeters? But, you know, sorry, Shoe Butter, you're not going to get your feet in these guys because they only go up to 29 centimeters and your feet are something like 35 centimeters, and that just ain't going to happen. And the other reason why I don't think Shoe Butter will like these is because he likes his tie-dye, but I think he likes his tie-dye when it's that full spectrum tie-dye. And what we've got here is a very blue tie-dye. And what I've got here is a very green tie-dye. And I thought I would show this to you because I made this with kids actually. You know, years ago, very, very long time ago, and it's the bag that I keep the green screen in. So there's a nice bit of tie-dye, handmade tie-dye from Tokyo Butter 23. Now this is very green. The shoe is a very blue-based tie-dye, and it almost gets to green on the spectrum, you know, as you transition out of blue and into green, but it doesn't quite make it there. But it's more a blue-centric tie-dye rather than that full spectrum sort of yellows and blues and reds and all that mixed in together. So that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I just know that Shoe Butter would love it if it was full spectrum tie-dye, and I think it would just like it that it's blue-centric tie-dye. Now, answering that question in the video, and I'm a bit sort of disappointed in myself now that I think about it, because usually I ask questions, if there's a question in the title, I usually answer it early in the video because I don't like to string people along waiting for that answer. And I realise I haven't answered that question, so bad, you know, sorry, apologies, bad. I should have said this earlier, but the question was, is the toe box the real main feature of these guys? And I should answer that question by talking about why I think that toe box is amazing on them. What I'm actually talking about is the panel rather than the overlays. The overlays are in that tie-dye, that blue tie-dye around front, but what the panel is, the toe box panel on there is in black toe. I think that's huge in this shoe, and the best way I can explain why I think that's huge is if you imagine these guys where all the black was white and all the white was black, so that midfoot on there was black with a white swoosh, for example, and then that toe box on there was white, and then if you look all the way up the tongue and think about that being white instead of black, and then white, sort of a black tongue tag up at the top, and then white writing on there. So imagine it all in that. I don't think it would have worked. I think it would have been too much white on the shoe. It had to be black sort of first, with that just one little sort of tickle of white on the midfoot section, and then a black toe in any Jordan sneaker I think is a big deal. And there was a recent black toe Chicago mid, I think it was, that was in those Chicago colorways, a classic sort of original Michael Jordan ones, Chicago colors in the black, red and white, and it was black toe, so that's why it was a big deal in that mid. It was a mid, not a high, whereas these guys, I think I'm right in saying, are a high. I'm sure they're a high. In fact, they are a high, and it's got the black toe in there. I think that's a big feature. I think that's bigger than anything else on the shoe, actually, than the tie-dye even. And like I say, if you imagine it as a white toe box instead of a black one, I think you'd understand what I'm talking about. Since we're on the toe box, we might as well go up a little bit and get to that tongue there. One of the things I really wanted to mention about these guys is I'm glad that the tongue is so simple in that black base with one little head of white at the top, and then the black branding at the top. If they'd gone with anything more than that, I think it would have been a bit too much. And what I mean is I'm talking about if they'd gone with tie-dye. There might be tie-dye laces that you could swap out with these black ones, but I hope not. I think it needs that black sort of at the center to sort of ground the tie-dye. Otherwise, the tie-dye is just a bit too sort of flary on it. So I'm glad they went with black all the way through the tongue and up into the top of the tongue, where a little head of white on there just gives a little bit of contrast. And then the same if we come down onto the midfoot, where you can see that white midfoot and the black swoosh on the top of it. Again, it's a great choice. If you switched it around, if it was black with a white swoosh, it would have been too dark, and it would have pulled the sort of tie-dye down. It's a great choice to make that midfoot white and then that swoosh on the side there black. And going up from that, this is my one sort of like you know, I think you probably should have done that the other way on this shoe. Is when you get to that Wings branding on the ankle there, you can see it's in black against the tie-dye, which means that it kind of doesn't pop off. I can imagine if you'd done this in white, it would really have popped off the tie-dye, but in black it sort of gets absorbed by the tie-dye and is lost in there, and I think that's a bit of a miss on this shoe. I know they might sometimes deliberately want the Wings logo to be sort of toned down by whatever the colorway is around it, but in the case of these guys, I think they've got enough pop in the tie-dye, so having it in white would have brought that Wings logo out and made it really, really look good. Now, the last place that I want to go on these guys is on the back, and there's something important about the heels here. I don't know if you can see it or if you're noticing it. I'm going to string this out a little bit to give you guys enough time to look at the heels behind me here of the left and the right shoe together, and then you can guess or you can preempt what you think I'm going to say, because what I'm going to say is it's great that these two don't match. If they did match, you'd know that this was just a computer churning out shoes, but it's cool that they don't match, and you can see from the patterning on the two heels here that there's a different sort of design in the tie-dye. And even if that's the same on every single pair of these shoes, I think it still sort of honours the tie-dye sort of tradition, you know. And I'll hold up my really ugly bag here and see if we can sort of explain that by talking about why am I even here? Just talking about the size of the dots and the stuff on there. They're always kind of uneven because that's the way that tie-dye is created. So if they were even and sort of computer and matching and mirrored each other from left to right, it wouldn't really honour the tie-dye colorway. So I'm kind of appreciative of the fact that the back of these guys is different, even if it is exactly the same print on every single pair of these guys. It might not be, I might be wrong about that, but it's still cool, or still right that there's a different pattern on the back of these guys. And that's about it. I think I've covered everything that I want to talk about on these women's Air Jordan 1 tie-dyes that are coming out, like I said, on June the 11th. Now, this video will drop for me on June the 1st, so that gives us about 10 days to get this shoe up and running and see how it goes out there in the world. And if people are out there buying these, then, you know, I hope this video helps you to understand more about the shoe and you appreciate what I'm talking about. But for the 540th consecutive time, it's time for me to shut down this video and go ahead and edit it in time for tomorrow. So I'm going to shoot off and do that. And I'll do what I say at the end of every single video. And since this is a women's video, I probably should shout out to the women out there and to that one woman out there. I mean, we're all, you know, we're all somebody's child, and I have to shout out to my mum. Mum, this shoe's for you. It's a women's shoe, and I hope you appreciate it. So for now, time for me to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out my content. But as I do this every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.